So I'm going to start, just say a couple of things. If other people get on, I may announce these things again, but please keep your cameras on because we're recording this and it's wonderful to be able to see you. So if you don't have your camera on, please put it on, and we don't care what, we just want to see you because that'll be important.
So Tom Albert raised his hand.
Yes.
Well, his hand's been raised for a long time. Tom, if you want to talk, please do.
Well, we're Tom and Barbara. We're saying hi to Peter and Lynn. We're friends from Fort Myers. We've cruised. We've done theater. We've had many fun times, many meals together. And we hope to see them soon back in Fort Myers.
Awesome. Can you put your camera on?
It is on for us. I don't know.
And your hand down, please.
We don't have our hands up.
Okay, well, we'll just know that then.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
If you want to say, oh yeah, it's down now. Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
All right. So that's it. Keep your cameras on, please, and stay muted if you're not speaking. And if you're in a group of people, please don't speak to each other, so that it doesn't be background noise for whoever's talking. There's Anna. Hey, Anna.
How do you say hello to everybody?
All right. So that's all that I have to say. And is there anyone who has something that they'd like to share? Or Peter, did you want to say anything else to people just to say hello?
I wanted to thank everybody for this.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
See a lot of old friends that I haven't seen for a long time. Very happy to see you.
We're so happy to be here, Peter. All right. So if you want to share something particular, if you go down to the bottom of your screen, you click on where it says reactions with the little smiley face, and a little screen will come up that says, that gives you choices, and you click raise hand, and then I'll see that you want to share. And here's my son, Adrian Scott. It says right there, this is my son, Ganesha, and Adrian is his wife. They're coming on from Alaska. Welcome, Ganesha and Ren, and is the baby still asleep? You're muted.
Yeah, no, I just yeah, the baby's still sleeping. She was up pretty late.
Okay, well, it's great for you to be here. So is there anyone who has something in particular that they'd like to share with Peter? Did you want to say something?
So this is a pretty international gathering with Peter and Jenny in England. And welcome to you guys. I haven't talked to you for a while, so I'm happy to see you're still out and about. Recently saw that of the people born between 1930 and 1947, 1% of the world population is still alive. And obviously decreasing rapidly. So I'm very happy to see my contemporaries, the ones that are still around. Appreciate you as friends, and appreciate your participating. A lot of people we've known since Princeton and early. Alex Illich, glad to see you doing well. People from Lynn's side, including Bob Welling and Paul Magneo and Tamara, of course, from the Princeton days. Had many different experiences and different friends in different periods of my life, friends and family. And I appreciate you all. I recently lost two of my best friends from college, Mark Franklin in 2001 and Paul Chasse in 2002. And they had memorial services for them. But I'm so happy that this could be before that happens for me.
We lost Glenda, our best friend.
Glenda earlier,
And,
going back to the Babylon High School days.
right, and Barbara Kaminsky.
Yeah,
So a lot of our contemporaries are gone. I'm so glad you're all here and well.
Peter, they are not the only international people here. I'm in Kenya.
that's right. Nora is calling from Africa. So again, worldwide representation.
Nora
And I'm,
Percy is Peter's sister, one of his four.
yeah, his youngest sister. I'm grateful that you timed it so that I could, wasn't the middle of the night here. It's already 8 p.m. So thank you for timing this.
Glad
To,
internet. Some of our other friends did not have good internet connection, unfortunately. But impressive that you had it. And, yeah, all of my four sisters are.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
there's Jill. Jill wins, that's another sister, and two are in the back.
I don't think they were included in this at all.
Laurie is running around doing stuff, and I'm here. Here am I. I'm the oldest one. I was Peter's first sister. Very short memory. We used to play Tarzan and Jane. I don't know if you remember that, Peter.
I remember Elizabeth wanted to be a circus act, and I had to hold you up while you performed acrobatic feats. That was a while ago.
You did everything I said. Unbelievable, the things I did to your body while I was trying to be an acrobat. Thank you.
I do want to thank Elizabeth and Laurie for putting this together. Very appreciative.
So we've got a couple of hands up here. Tamara, would you like to share something? You have to unmute yourself, Tamara.
Can't hear you.
There you go.
Peter, it's great to see you. It's been a long time. I've known you for what, 60 years? Married for 35, 38. And, you know, I wish you the best of luck. I hope you beat this thing. Doctors are not always correct. And there's always alternative kind of medicines to look into. But it's great that you're still around and that I get to see you. Been a long, long time. And I miss the whole family. Everybody has gotten married, children, etc. And, you know, our generation is going bye-bye. My best friends have also gone, Arlene and Doris, and people every year or almost every month. But, you know, we're still lucky we're here and we got to keep fighting.
Thank you. Phil.
So I hope I see you a year from now or before and year after year.
That would
So
be.
good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tamara. Anne, would you like to share something?
Sure.
Could you say who you are and how you know Peter?
Yes, I'm Ann Haller, and I live about 5 floors below Peter and Lynn in Florida. And it might be amusing how I met Peter. I don't know, Peter, do you remember when I met you?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, I used to get all the emails and participate in all the board elections before I
Yeah,
moved down
Face
here.
comes up, ours doesn't.
And you were running for the board probably in 2016. And I read your resume from maybe New Jersey, maybe Florida. And I said, wow, he went to school in Massachusetts, and so did I. He writes pretty well. He looks like a good candidate. So I did vote for you, but you lost, if you recall.
Remember,
I after that became a resident down here, and I recognized you from your picture, and you were coming into the building from the garage, and I was leaving the building, going to the garage. We were in the driveway, and I introduced myself, and I said, I voted for you, and I'm sorry you lost. If you run again, I'll help you win. And do you remember that? I don't know. You didn't know me, but I thought, oh my God, he's going to think that's a crazy lady. But anyway, Peter ran again, and he did win. And I had told him, and you will get the most votes, and he did. And so he's been on the board for the last 2 years with me. And he's been my sounding board to keep me sane and keep me from going off the deep end. He writes extremely well, as you all know. He puts out board updates while in a flash. I think maybe I could sharpen my pencil in the time he gets it all done. So appreciate you, Peter. I also, I don't know if anybody else is on here from Florida, but they owe you a big thank you for your part in the local, in the contract with management. Peter played a big role in that. Very active down here, very helpful, very pleasant, and never gets agitated. He and Lynn are just cool as cucumbers, and I especially appreciate him because Lynn, his wife, and I share the very same birthday, so we are good friends. Nice to see you, Peter.
well, I'll mention Ann is force of nature as board president. She's the one that keeps the building running despite mistakes by management and others. And if I've been helpful, Ann, of course, I'm very happy that I was able to help.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Anne. All right. So who else wants to share a memory? My sister Laurie says I talk too much, so I'm going to start talking if somebody else doesn't share something.
I'd be interested in Paul Milaneo, how things are going with you and your family.
Well, first, it's good to see you, Uncle Peter, and I've been sitting here thinking of a memory to share, but there's too many, and they certainly, for me, they go back to the very beginning of my life. You were very much Shea. You and Aunt Tamara, second set of parents to me and Peter. And I have very fond memories of you.
I can mention that Tamara's brother John and his wife Gina bought a house when we bought a house in East Windsor. They lived 2 houses away. So we were very much a part of Paul and Peter's lives as they were growing up.
I remember you used to have a huge, huge dog. Was that your dog or your neighbor's dog? A huge Saint
Yeah.
Bernard?
That was our neighbor's dog.
Oh my God, what a
Goldie.
slobbering dog that was.
Paul's dog was Susie, a collie.
Yeah. Yeah, we had wonderful memories. You know, we spent our Christmases together at one house or the other. And for Peter and me, our favorite moment was when Uncle Peter and Aunt Tamara would come in the front door with a massive box of presents. And we were, you know, we were kids, so it was exciting because they were buying for, they indulged us and made sure we had everything that we wanted or hoped for.
I was all Tamara.
That may be, but you carried the box. So
Absolutely.
And those were, that was just one memory. We had great Christmases together, playing, staying up late on Christmas Eve and playing Risk. I'm sure you remember, until it was very late and we were sleeping on the floor. And for Peter and me, it was those were very special memories. There was often a lot of family around. My grandmother and my Boris, and of course my father. Sometimes Vlad and other members of our family were there, and we got to meet all of your and get to know all your friends, like Arlene and her children, and just a mass of people. So it was, especially when the Christmas was at your house, it really amazing. There was such a cluster of people. There were so many people. It created a very special and warm, big Christmas feel. And they were wonderful times.
I'll share one memory of when Tamara and I took you and Peter skiing. We had a great time until you and Peter were the best of enemies at times as brothers. And in this case, I think one of you pushed the other, and Peter ended up having his tooth smashed by the tip of a ski pole. So that was very memorable.
So, yeah, it was. Yeah.
We would take you guys places and it would be fun, but you would be bickering with each other all the time. I remember other times when we would take you or Peter separately, and you were such a personality. It was amazing.
Right. Yeah, sorry if that's the that came with the brothers thing. Yeah, we did a lot of skiing. It was great. You taught me how to ski. You guys taught us how to ski, and I spent a lot of time. My first lessons were with you, Camelback, and I remember one trip we took to Mount Snow, and Peter and I were so excited because you and Aunt Tamara talked about the mountains so much. But we went, and it was brutally cold and very windy, and at the top, after one run we decided to stop. But on the way down, so this is an embarrassing moment for you, Uncle Peter. I remember everything was freezing, and we were doing everything we could to not freeze, but even our masks were ice. And I looked over at you, and of course you had a huge drip of snot coming right out of your nose and just hanging on the tip and starting to freeze. And you skied down that way, making sure we were okay, but all the while having this wonderful little bulb of frozen nose discharge. It was memorable.
That was a memorable trip. It was a minus 60-degree wind chill that day.
I remember it. You're exactly right. I remember that temperature.
I made one trip down the hill with you guys, and I think I was done. And I think Tamara wanted to do another run with you guys. You did it on your own, but as I remember, you were pretty miserable that night, Paul.
Yeah, I got sick.
Yeah, it was a memorable time.
It was fun. They all were. I'll certainly think of some more as this talk goes on and offer them. But I'm glad to see you. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since we've spoken. You're a very thoughtful man, and
How are your daughters doing?
they're both great.
Where are they now?
They're in New York. Sydney's working, looking to go to law school. Alexis is finishing one more year of college.
Where is she? What
Kenyon.
college?
Kenyon College
Which
in
one?
Ohio. It's a small private school in Ohio, a small liberal arts school in Ohio.
Good for her.
Yeah, so she's doing great. She's home.
Great to catch
I'll
up.
be driving her back in a couple of days to school.
Good.
Yeah, Meryl's good. Working hard. Everyone's good.
Great, glad to hear it.
Yeah, so we bought a place upstate, and so I'm there. It's much cooler and more spacious than the city.
Where upstate?
It's in Greene County, New York. It's a little west of Albany and in the Catskills.
It really is up there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, I was inspired by all our trips to Kent.
Yeah, right. You know,
So I pictured that in my head when I was looking, and so I found a place that really worked.
Yeah, my parents had a an old house in Kent, Connecticut that they had fixed up. And we go up there for holidays. And yep, very nice times.
Yeah, they were amazing Thanksgivings. So I'll let someone else speak. But it's good seeing you, Peter. I love you.
Love you, Paul.
Oh. Hello, can I speak? This is Jennifer.
Yes,
Jennifer
Jennifer,
and Peter. How are you?
good. It's good
Lovely
to
to speak to you. Yeah, we're
we had
hello, yeah.
we had met you in London, but Peter didn't come along. So I'm glad to see Peter alive and
Well,
kicking.
we did see you in London. I saw you in London. I'm sure because we went to the museum together, and I've got some pictures of you there.
Yes.
But then I think you were in London other times, weren't you, as well? So, but yes, I think the last time I saw you was in London. So you and Lynn. So, but anyway, Peter's here. He's got a few things he'd like to say, I'm sure. So, Peter, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was listening to Paul and remembering those trips too. Occasionally we were along, and I owe my skiing abilities to you. I remember Peter, Paul's brother, and his spaghetti incident, which was highly amusing. But thanks a lot for the memories.
So
Yes,
Peter Bond was a postdoc at Princeton when I was there, and kind of took me under his wing. He was in the biophysics department. We were both involved in this new computer graphics system, but Peter taught me all I know about proteins and DNA, and I may have given him a little insight in some of the small molecule stuff too.
Very true.
yeah, and then I joined Peter and I also postdoc at Princeton for a couple of years with Jack Fresco.
Right.
And then that's how sort of we got to know each other, and also Tamara. And we've got many memories of coming to your house and with your family. And Boris was there, and many times at Christmas on various other occasions. So
Don't forget Michael the cat.
I've forgotten.
You used to comb him, the only one who could get near him.
Yeah.
And what about Prince the dog?
Yeah.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Our first dog.
And Tamara had arranged a number of parties at the East Windsor House, and her research group used to gather there. And I think you had attended some of those parties too.
yeah, we attended lots of parties and lots of hospitality. And also we went skiing as well. You took us to the Pocono skiing, and I remember that. We actually bought some skis, and I think our skis are still up in, we've never used them since America. They probably aren't any good now, but we still got them upstairs in our loft, I think. So, but we went several times skiing with you as well.
You still have it
And,
from the States?
Still what? So still, the last time I came in the States was to, I visited you tomorrow, didn't I? I was going on, I think, to somewhere else, and we had a few days visit. So I haven't been to the States recently, no. No, it's quite a few years ago now.
I asked about your old Buick.
Oh, Buick. Yes, we kept that for a long time. And we actually brought the Buick from the US to, you had it transported, didn't you?
Yeah, I went via Bremerhaven and had many happy years with it. We're stopping diesel cars in the near future, if the car industry doesn't object.
Yeah.
And I managed to get twice the value of it that I paid for it as what they call scrappage.
Oh my goodness.
We kept it for a long time, Peter, because we brought it back from Germany. And then we kept it at home, and I used to drive all the way up to Bristol from where I lived in Tiverton and park it. And it was very difficult to park it at the university. I think I was a bit of a joke trying to get in the car parking spaces. But and then we kept it in the garage for a long time. And then eventually, well, I think it hadn't been out the garage for several years, and we had to get somebody in to drag it out and lift it out, and that's what Peter was referring to, I think, didn't it? We had to scrap it in the end. So, but we kept it for a long time.
I remember visiting you in Tiverton and seeing it in the garage. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah, no, we kept it for a very long time. We were quite attached to it. Didn't like to get rid of it, but you know, at the point we couldn't really keep it. But yeah, I do remember as well. You remember when you had your Lincoln Continental?
I do.
That was even bigger.
Yeah,
that was huge.
Pretty unreliable car, unfortunately.
Used to get us to the Met.
Get it to the
You
what?
remember-
Met. New York.
Oh, the Met, yeah.
Yeah, we remember several times she took us there, and because you could drive right underneath the Met and in the Lincoln Continental. Yeah,
Metropolitan Opera, yeah.
yeah, that was quite an experience. Yeah. So
Remember.
Of course, every
Yeah,
time
thank
I drove it, it left me. It abandoned me.
really?
Yeah,
The
they-
Lincoln.
It was a nice car in its time, but those large cars are disappearing now, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just collector's items, probably. But
Yeah. It had
You
an
got the
electrical
electric car?
problem. I remember several times when I was teaching at night in Rutgers, and I had to call AAA or somebody to bail me out. But, you know, anyway, I survived.
So I see
yeah,
Jeffrey.
those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you carry on, Peter. Yeah.
I just saw Jeffrey Milstein there, and I wanted to welcome him. It was one of the early Columbia friends that we had, and we've stayed in touch. I know Paul was your primary contact, but I enjoyed staying in touch with you and your emails, and I still consider you a friend.
Well, Peter, it's good to see you again now. And yes, the first time I met you, Peter, you greeted me along with your Babylonian buddy, Paul Chassie, when I first entered Columbia in September 1958. And I was a freshman and you were a sophomore there. And you were a greeter for incoming freshmen. I was from out of town in Denver, Colorado, and you and Paul greeted me and introduced me to the dorm. And I'll always remember that because you actually were the first person who greeted me as a freshman at Columbia. Later, the other thing, of course, I remember is we lived after my second year at Columbia, I guess it was your third year, we shared an apartment with two other guys, 418 West 118th Street, a block off the Columbia campus, towards just near the park. And that place is now gone, and it's been replaced by an international study center at Columbia University. But I remember we lived there and shared a lot of time together living in that apartment. The other thing I really do recall, and I don't know if you remember it, but you had a summer job driving a laundry van. And took me, just you and me, and took me all the way out Long Island to Montauk Point. The only time in my life I've ever been to Montauk Point. And I was always impressed by the fact that you could combine your summer job with a pleasurable trip.
You know, I've completed and you went along with me on that ride, but that's a good memory. Thank you.
So, you know, my best wishes to you. It's been a long life for us both, but life is full of events and people, and it's good to share these times again while we still can.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Thank you. That summer, actually 2 summers, I drove a truck for Consolidated Laundries and was taking sheets and towels to the hotels and some private houses in the Hamptons and all the way out to Montauk Point. And actually wrestling those big bags of laundry was good exercise, good physical fitness for me. So I came back to school at the end of that summer in pretty good shape, as well as earning some money towards college. It was hard work, but it was I enjoyed the driving. I also forgot that I had been a greeter, Jeff, so thanks for reminding me of that.
Peter, can you hear me?
Greg, yes.
Okay. My name is Greg Masonic, and I'm part of the other life of Peter that probably a lot of you guys don't know about. You know, I live at the Beau Rivage here in Florida, and of course, Peter's one of our residents, and he's here much of the year. And most of us here at the Beau Rivage are from different locations of the country. Myself being from Chicago, so I have maybe a Chicago personality, and of course, Peter's very academic, you know, very intelligent, and let me kind of tell you a little bit about Peter and some of the things he does here at the Beau Rivage that you may not be aware of. Now, Peter enjoys going to happy hours. I'm sure he does that everywhere, but here at the Beau Rivage, we have a monthly happy hour, and Peter is one of the first guys there, you know, eating up all the cake, and he always likes his glass of beer. And another thing, you might have never, we have a club. It's a bunch of guys, we're an older population, and we go out to lunch often, and we call ourselves the Romeos. Now, I don't know if anybody heard of that road, Romeo, but, Peter really fits the name, and we all do. It stands for Retired Old Men Eating Out. But anyway, I kind of created that term, and I think it really fits us all well. We can get away and not be embarrassed of anything because we're a bunch of old guys, and we can act stupid, and that's okay. But Peter's much of our life here. He's on our board of directors, and when he puts out a newsletter or a synopsis of what's going on here, he really gets it word by word of what's happening here at the Beau Rivage. So we know you're coming back soon, and we look forward to that time when you come back here, and Mary can make you some more cake.
Greg is a retired police officer from Chicago and head of the security committee at the Beau, and keeps us all in line and keeps the building safe. And we're very appreciative of his work too.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, we all have a lot of fun here. I think we're all at a stage of our life to just enjoy each other's company, and backgrounds don't mean as much as they used to, but we make it work. So yeah, thank you, Peter. And there's many other people that I'm really, glad to be associated with it on the computer as well, and seeing your friends from many parts of your life in the past.
Thanks, Greg. Nora Frauman.
Hi, how are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you. I wanted to tell them a little bit that my father met your mom in the 40s. I don't know if that was before or after you were born, but in any case, he was a merchant marine for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And he met your mom in New York City. And then many years later, we immigrated, and he said, I'm going to find that woman and their family. I guess they kept in touch a little, but by some miracle, they tracked the family down in Flushing, I think, right?
In
North Babylon.
North Babylon. Anyway, I was only, it was in 1957, we immigrated, and Yvonne and I were just little. So, but we spent practically every Thanksgiving together, and believe me, after 10 years in the Bronx, going to Kent was like going to heaven. Because your house had like no rules compared to our house. We could walk around barefoot. My father couldn't say anything. And we just rattled around in the house and we just absolutely loved it. It was like going on vacation for Thanksgiving. So it was one of the best things in our life every year. So anyway, it's nice to see you and Lynn and see you here and to be here. And I think Ben wants to say hello too.
I just want to make a couple sentences. One, Nora is named after your mother.
Yeah.
Nora, right?
Right. And your sister.
And so I came along with the Van Balviks. It was wonderful Thanksgiving. And it's just phenomenal memories. I got to share one thing, however. Probably truly one of the top 3 most embarrassing things of my life. So I was officiating your good father, Jim Percival's funeral. I started crying so hard I couldn't finish it. Supposed to be a profession. And I was a jerk.
Oh, no.
I will never get over my embarrassment not being able to finish a funeral. There it is. But your family is just wonderful memories.
Father, yeah, Ben is a minister and officiated at that. One correction to your story, Nora. It was my father, Jim, who was the bar hop. So Coase met Jim first.
Oh, really?
Jim brought him home, but the father and my mother made a connection and they stayed in touch for a long time.
So you were little then?
I wasn't born then, I don't think.
Yes, you were. I was born too, Peter. Nana told me they had gone up from Buchanan to have a weekend in New York.
Oh, so she was along.
Nana was there, and what they did was they saved your father from being accosted by a male who was trying to accost him. And
Really?
they saved him because he was an adorable young man. And they saved him and brought him back to their apartment and made sure that he was safe.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't 1940 then, it was later.
Yeah, it was
Right.
somewhere in the 40s.
I was born in 45, so it was after the war, but maybe 45 actually, because I think I was an infant. That's what Mom told me.
But you
But
guys,
anyways, we were the little girls. Yvonne and I were the little girls because the big girls were all a little older than us. Yeah, so basically you guys are our sisters and brother in the United States and our cousins too. You're the brothers, sisters, and cousins. So, because we don't really know our cousins.
and you've got a lot of them and we've got a lot.
I got about 50 first cousins. Yeah, a whole bunch.
Yeah, we've enjoyed seeing your mom when she comes to Florida to visit Eddie.
And I'm sure my mom is sending her love to you guys
She
too.
called.
Sorry, that's the dog.
Yeah, and we were very appreciative of Eddie letting us stay in their house in
I know.
Palm Beach during Hurricane Ivan.
Right.
Ian. And that was very, very sweet. We appreciated that.
Oh, great. I'm glad he could do that for you because you were stuck on what are you on the 14th floor or something?
14th floor on the Caloosahatchee River.
Yeah.
Had a lot of flooding.
Not in our condo.
No,
Downstairs.
but the elevators weren't working, right?
For a while, we lost power for 4 hours apparently.
Wow.
But Belmead lost power too. So that actually was scary because the cell phone power went out. And so nobody could get in touch with us. So
All
we
right.
drive around the next day until we found a working cell phone tower. And then we found out power had been returned to the bow. And so we went home. And it was a mess. There was a boat in the front yard and so forth. But the Eddie's house did really well in the storm.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, we all have great memories
You were just outlined in green.
It's
so people
wonderful.
talk.
Just you guys. And thanks for participating. Appreciate the stories. Jill. You're muted, Jill.
I just wanted to, I realize that Elizabeth and I are the only people here who can say anything about you when you were a kid. Which is a tremendous blessing for us that here we all are in our 70s and 80s, almost. Nora will be 70 and in a few months, and we are all still here. But when we were kids, and Nora sometimes says to me that she grew up in a different family than I did. She grew up in the family with 5 kids. We grew up most of the time when we were kids in the family with 3 kids. I was lucky to be the middle child in both of those families. But when we were little and we lived in North Babylon, it was Jane and Peter and I. That's Elizabeth, Jane. And I was the little one then. In fact, they called me the baby until Laurie was born, until I was 5. And but we lived in the woods. We played in the woods. Peter and our neighbor, Dickie Nicolar, were the fort builders. They built underground forts and tree forts and every kind of fort. I shudder to think, and when I told Mommy about this many years later, she was terrified when I told her that you had dug an underground fort in the woods, and we played in it all the time, which was, we're lucky we weren't buried alive. But the 3 of us, I think, had a wonderful time. We lived in the country. Here's the things we did. We washed the dishes. We sang, we told stories, and Peter told us about how he went to Oz.
Wow.
In the middle of the night. That's the family we grew up in. So, I love you.
Love you, Jill. Yeah, I read all the Oz books, and I was that was my fantasy for a while, was talking about Oz. I remember that. I remember we would wash and dry the dishes. Nana would read stories to us at some time while we're doing that.
And I believe that you went there.
Me too. I always tell this story, Jill, because there was this little tree behind there. We had this garage that had tar paper shingles on it. It was so weak that eventually my father pushed this garage over and we burned it. But when it was still standing, there was this little bitty tree on the back of it. And Peter, you told me that you climbed that tree and that's how you got to Oz every night. And I would beg you to take me with you, and you would say, oh no, it's too dangerous for girls. The monkeys are there. You'd come back and tell us these stories. And I absolutely knew that you went to Oz every night, and I wished in my heart that I could go with you. Not only that, Peter, you told me he was a master at getting us not to be around him when he didn't want us to be. We had a grapevine that crawled all over the ground. It didn't have any frame. And he told me that there was a chipmunk under there that could talk. And if I would sit there and watch, that it would come out and talk to me. You know how many hours I sat there waiting for that chipmunk to come out, Peter? Good job.
Pretty nasty little kid, wasn't I?
Yeah, so we talked about how you scared me to death with a snake.
I don't remember that either.
We had a back porch all the way across the back of our house, and I used to sit on the steps. I think we all did a lot. And Peter used to explore in the woods and collect everything that was living, only after he collected it was dead. So bugs, butterflies, everything. We were supposedly not supposed to go in his room, but we did. And he would say, you're not allowed to touch my stuff. So I would go and touch it. just with my fingers, just to make him crazy. But anyway, I was sitting on the back porch and he went through the front door with a snake, came out the back door. I was sitting there and he snuck out and held it, lowered it down in front of my face. To this day, I'm terrified of snakes. However, my grandchildren have helped me a lot because I pretend that I love them.
Well,
we had lots of fun, I think.
I'll apologize for that. I totally don't remember it, but
Thank you.
There was some sibling rivalry going on.
Well, you know, 4 sisters.
Yeah.
I always tell the story about how Dad and Peter would sit at the dining room table and say, women.
Yeah, we're outnumbered.
I wrote a little note on the thing that Laurie put together about how you, well, they said in it, this story that you, when Laurie was born, that was your 3rd sister, and you were how old? 12, I think. Mommy told us that you cried, and was because you said, I'll never have a brother. And when Nora was born 2 years later, you were just, you expected it to be another sister. But I think you're lucky to have had us, Suzanne, and your 2 granddaughters. You've spent your whole life surrounded by women. Aren't you lucky?
I'm very comfortable around women.
And we're comfortable around you. Go ahead.
I figure this is my moment to say something here, even though it's a hard act to follow, that emotional stuff about your childhood. But I just wanted to say that I have 2 really strong memories of spending time with you. One was as a kid, when we would come and visit you, especially when we visited you at in Princeton, and I had a really wonderful time there. I remember catching fireflies at that house and hanging out with Suzanne, and all the wonderful time we had then. We were pretty close as kids because we were close in age. But also one time when I came to visit you when you were in Tokyo, and we spent time at your fancy hotel in Tokyo. And you know, for me, that was one of those experiences where I feel like it was a real transitional moment in life, from being a kid and seeing your older relatives as just sort of these benevolent blobs who are there, to starting to see them as real people like you. And, you know, I felt like we really kind of had a moment of bonding on that trip, and I appreciated it. And I was really grateful for you hosting me and being able to spend time with you. So.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
I have a memory too of coming back from one of those trips to Japan and having brought some presents and giving you a translator. I don't know if you remember that or not, but
I do. I remember that. Yeah, I used it.
I thought it was interesting that you became a student of languages.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I'll tell you one more story, which I also wrote in my thing, because one of the things that Peter used to do when they would go and live at the beach in New Jersey in the summer, and he was traveling a lot, was watch the sun come up in New Jersey over the Atlantic Ocean, then fly here. And we would go to the Cliff House on the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and watch and eat dinner and watch the sun go down.
The same day. Yeah, that was a memory.
It was great.
So as the youngest,
Oh,
who
good. I
didn't
was gonna say,
any
go
of
ahead.
the adventures in the woods, my memory, most of my early memories of you, Peter, have to do with your T-bird, your red T-bird, because you were already off I mean, you went off to college when I was 4, so we didn't really grow up together at all. But I remember you coming home with that car, and oh, I love that car. And I was so mad at you when you sold it. I just thought, how could or let go of this incredibly beautiful machine? I have forgiven you. I have, but it took me a very long time.
No, that car went out of the University of Massachusetts, courted Tanara car. And after we got married, I didn't really it was kind of rusting out. Massachusetts used a lot of salt on the roads. It kind of, what went through the floorboard. But I got a good price for it, so.
Yeah. I am still in love with that make and model of Thunderbird. You know, it's to me, it's an iconic, it's almost, I don't know, mythical. The other memory I have of you is when I was in high school and I came to visit you, and you were a postdoc in Schleier's team, and you very proudly brought me into an auditorium and showed me the film of the first video, I guess you'd made, of the molecular, you know, a molecule that showed up and turned around, and then another one entered and they bonded. And it was the first year that you were the end of your first year in that project. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
the first product of the project.
It was one of the very early computer graphic systems. And yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, it was this little 10-minute video, and I'm like 15 years old or something. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. But now looking back, I'm aware of what that achievement was. And by the way, I've been an Airbnb host for a decade, and I had a guest who works in the field. I forget what you even call it now, you know, computer-based molecular modeling. And when I told him that you were my brother, he said, oh, I shook his hand once at a conference. You know, you were like a demigod to him. So just know that in a small circle of people who don't know you, they worship you, as we all do, of course.
I'd like to put something in there about that. And it includes Mark Franklin. Mark Franklin came up to me one day and he said, I'm going to tell you this because your brother will never tell you this. Your brother will ask you whether you want a hamburger or a steak at the party on Sunday at the house, but he will never tell you how important he is. He's a really important person in his field. And I say this because, and this is what I think you're leading to, Nora, is that your humility as a person, and I don't mean that in an overblown way, Peter, it's just simply who you are. You are a humble man. You are a person who thinks about others, and you've spent your life doing that, being there for other people, like just being there. Whatever, you were there. I could always go to you for anything, and oh my gosh, I'm going to stop talking because I'm not going to be able to talk anymore. So, Nora, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Is there more that you wanted to say? Are you complete? Thanks. So, Ryan, you've had your hand up for a long time.
Oh, good. And now I have to talk when I'm crying. That's great.
So, you introduce yourself, please, dear.
Sure. I'm Ryan Hale. I'm Peter's son-in-law. Just want to say first, I'm sorry I'm not there in person to share the event with you, but very grateful to be part of the group of people that's assembled from around the world to show our love and to be part of a smaller set of a much larger group of people who have been able to enjoy getting to know Peter and share that kindness that so many other people have spoken about. So the main comment or feeling that I wanted to share with Peter today and the group is just how much I appreciate how connected he has been to our girls, Julia and Audrey. He really is just plugged into every part of their lives. It's like despite the distance, our girls have been fortunate to grow up with their grandfather, and that means a lot to all of us. And you know, when we do have the chance to meet in person, there's very little catching up to do because we already know, Peter already knows everything that the girls are up to and what they're doing in school and what they're doing outside of school and what naughty tricks the bunny's been up to recently. And just that really active connection is such a big positive influence in their lives. And I really appreciate that. So thanks so much for gathering here today, everyone who made sacrifices to make this happen. Couldn't think of a better way to spend a Sunday afternoon with Peter and all the people who love him.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. And your daughters are a big part of our lives. the technology is wonderful. I was saying yesterday, often when grandparents visit for the first time, the young kids are, standoffish. But because we had been doing Skype and Zoom later, we had a relationship already. So we just jumped right into the relationship. It was great. I wanted to mention that Nora is in Africa because she is doing a program to help nurses in Kenya, is it? That to have
Yes, Kenya.
to do proper hygiene and health support for natives out in the bush, and is doing good work over there. So I want to appreciate her for that.
Thank you, Peter. It's, I was born to do this, oddly enough, so thank you.
Emily?
Hi, Uncle Peter. Hold on, let me take my hand off. I wanted to be able to say something because my phone's gonna die and I'm in a hotel and I'm getting kicked out soon. But it's hard to know where to start. I just love you so much and you're such a wonderful person and have been a huge influence and part of my life for so long. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being a father figure and a friend. I think you and I have had some really special times together when I was a kid and also later when I lived in New York and you were in New Jersey. I don't know if you remember, we went and saw Harry Potter together. That was really fun. We went and saw Harry Potter
I forgot
together.
that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Remember a canoe trip.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, we rode canoes. I had forgotten that. That was so great. I'm sorry you didn't teach me how to ski. I still don't know how. But you did certainly take me on some wonderful, amazing trips. And I think one of the things I wanted to express is that, as you know, our family is very large and can be a lot. And you were always a calm and gentle person in my life, and I needed that. And I feel like you have a gift of making people feel seen. So I just wanted to say thank you and I love you.
Thank you, Emily. I love you and your family.
Okay, so I think we should talk about the fact that Peter makes bad puns.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So Peter, there is nothing I like better in life than a bad pun, and it's all your fault. Thank you. I can't even remember them, but in my family, if you made a bad pun and you made people groan, it was a good one. And you were very good at making people groan, Peter.
Yeah, I kind of gave that up recently, but
oh no, don't give it up.
Used to be one of my skills.
Are these you want to talk?
Peoples? No.
Oh, aren't you going to tell a story about
Are these the only people on? Is everyone?
Yeah, how about some of the people here in the audience? Anybody want to talk?
I would. I would.
I know.
Yeah, I finally made it online. I want to say, first of all, hello to all of you. I remember all of, well, not all of you, but Tamara, I don't know where you are, but I give you greetings because I really enjoyed, there you are. I enjoyed being with you. Peter, you were like another, how shall I say, another member of our family, mostly based on when Paul was growing up as a kid, he spent as much time at your house as he possibly could.
Yeah, I got the extra and I
And that's how we learned to play bridge in the first place. And from that point on, up to last Sunday, you've always been a part of my life. I'm sorry that Paul isn't here to share it with you, but maybe he's in a better place right now. I don't know. The only thing I can say to the rest of you, one thing I want to add, to Peter's mother, she referred to a group as the three apostles, Peter, Paul, and Mark, who unfortunately is no longer in this world. But this has just been such a wonderful treat. And every member of your family who I met, all of you, it was just a pleasure being there. And Peter, you're going to hear from me again and again after this is over. You're just very special. You're special to me and to Mark and Aaron as well. So just thank you. I love you. Just glad you are Peter. You've been a wonderful force in my life. So.
Thank you, Rhina. Rhina recently moved from Florida back up to Maryland, and we were.
Right. So I'm not that far away from you. I can't drive, but I can always Uber to you. Just keep that in mind. So, and the rest of you, parts of your family, everybody, I feel honored to be invited to this very, very special program. And I will have memories of it and memories of all of you. So thank you, all of you, actually. And Peter, just keep plugging away, okay?
Well, Rhina, you and Paul were a big part of my life, so thank you.
So this is a good time for me to say that there is a video being made of this event, and there's also a video of pictures that would put together by different people that show Peter's life. And those things are both available. The links for them are going to go in the chat, and they'll also be sent to you. And you'll go on a link for them to my YouTube channel. I found out I have a YouTube channel, and that's where you'll go, and you can see them. They'll just be there. So. Okay, now I'm going to call on you in a minute, Margaret, and I want to encourage everybody, if you've got anything to say, to go to reactions, sit down at the bottom of the screen and click on it, and a little thing will come up that says raise hand, and you need to click on that, and then your little yellow hand will come up and we'll know that you want to talk, because I can't see everybody. I can't see you raising your hand when we have the two people highlighted there. Okay, so, oh, good. Keep them coming. Go ahead, Margaret.
You're muted, Margaret. Margaret, you're muted.
Oh, is it Moppy?
Moppy.
Good. This is Moppy. This is not Margaret.
Sorry.
You got me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Moppy Lavery. I live many floors below Peter, but that doesn't matter. First met Peter in Florida, as we both live in the Beau Rivage, and was so impressed with he and Lynn, and we became friends. And then we realized we share the same birthday. We are birthday buddies, aren't we?
February 20th.
February 20th. Yes, we are. So anyways, it's been a real pleasure to socialize with you. As Greg Masonic mentioned, that Peter has always come to every single social hour and has been active in many committees. The one that he's been active on with me was the water committee and the thing up on the roof with the towers and the circulating system. And it made me realize how super intelligent Peter was. I appreciate your mind. I appreciate your writing ability, because we've wrote back so many different things back and forth and back and forth. And hope to get someday that water system, circulating system, the closed system in the Beau Rivage. I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but hopefully it will. But it's because of Peter's effort in getting everything started. So I appreciate that. I appreciate knowing you guys as people. You're super fun, and it's so nice to be your neighbor.
Well, thanks, Moppy, and I'm counting on you to push that through when I'm no longer able to help.
Right, right. Well, at least we got the security gates. That is a plus. Eventually that's going to happen. And yeah, we will continue on for sure, Peter, and get that started. But you know, when you come back to Florida, we can be active again. So we look forward to, I look forward to especially you coming back.
September 1st.
Are you coming back September 1st? I have to wait. I had foot surgery a few weeks ago. So I have to wait till that heals up a little bit more. So I'm going to be coming back mid-September.
Okay. See you then.
I look forward to seeing you and giving you all hugs and special people. And I so enjoyed listening to your family back and forth. I was a family of 4 girls. My father kept waiting for the boy. It never happened. So we ended up with all male dogs. And that was to satisfy my father.
Well, male dogs are pretty similar to male boys, actually.
I think so too. But
They
anyway,
mark the territory too.
it's great seeing you, and it's great seeing and meeting all of your family. What a wonderful family you have.
Yes, this has been great. Thanks.
All right. I'll see you later then.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So Jesse?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Uncle Peter.
Hi.
It's nice to see you, even though you're only this big, but it's really nice to see you. Jackson is napping for the first time in maybe a month and a half. So I don't know how long that lasts. So I wanted to say hi before he wakes up. If he's up for it, I will bring him on too, but just in case he's not in the mood. I just wanted to tell you how much I love you and how much you have meant to so many people in this family. Thanks, Hannah. Good. We'll see. I think my biggest memory of you, Uncle Peter, is your generosity. And not just with material things, even though you were always incredibly generous to the entire family, but with your time and your heart and your space. You have always been a safe place for so many people. And I think it comes with not only the love, but your generous spirit. And it's reflected, I think, in how many people are on this call and how many people have such wonderful memories of you and the family legacy you have. It just speaks so much to who you are still and have been for so long. I have lots of wonderful memories, you know, from trips to see you at your beach house, from you coming down and spending time in North Carolina, from driving me home from college for Thanksgiving one year. I think Emily and Justin were in the car with us and we all met at your house. And I don't know why you agreed to take all of us, but it was a great trip. And I think one of my favorite memories is being in Scotland with my college boyfriend and dropping your name randomly to his stepdad and Steve going, "Of course I know Peter. He's a great guy." And being on this tiny little island town in Scotland. And of course, someone there knows who you are and loves you as well. And it just reminded me of the impact you have on so many people over the years and around the world. And I'm just count myself lucky to be one of them. So thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate that.
Austin?
Hey, Peter. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Austin, and I'm Laurie's son. And on the other side of my family is almost all boys with one girl. And Peter, you've taught me so much about being a person the way we could count. I'm sorry. I grew up around so many girls, and being around Peter always taught me how to be with them, how to be strong and compassionate. And be there for them in any way they need. And then it made my life so full and so rich by all these amazing women in our lives that continue to be in our lives, and that thanks, that continues to serve me, and is my most fond memory of you is just watching you with your sisters, of how good you were to them, and to Nana. And I love you a lot.
Thank you. I actually didn't realize I had that much influence on you. I'm happy to hear it.
And oddly, it's a little bit, you being such a large person was one of the things that always made me try to emulate.
You did.
You think that's why you're tall, Austin?
Maybe.
No, I think Austin has Daddy's physique.
He really looks like Daddy, doesn't he? And he has his beautiful softness too, just as you do, Peter. Actually, I hadn't thought of that, but I think having Daddy as a dad is part of the reason why you are such a soft and lovely man. He was one, and so are you.
Uh-oh. Can you say hi, Peter?
Happy.
Okay. Love you.
Love you. Awesome.
You want to call on someone, Peter?
Well, Adrienne. Ben.
I think that's Ganesha. You have to unmute yourself, honey.
Yeah.
That's Ganesha's wife's name.
That's why it's okay, right.
Yeah. Actually, Ganesha Howell. Anyway, everything Austin said, but just for me, especially just having you as a solid force in life was pretty important for me. I really appreciate it. You're always so humoring of whatever crazy idea I had at the time, and in the best way possible. Come to you with totally misguided ideas about vectors or whatever, and you'd be very kind about it. And just throughout my life, I really appreciate you, man. I really do. I'm going to miss the heck out of you along with everybody else. That's a hard one. I love you. I got to get going. I raised my hand because I wanted to say I love you and goodbye. I got to go get ready to go next door for family time up here. We got a bunch of in-laws in town. also, but I love you very much.
I love you too.
Thank you for everything you've done for everybody. I can't just, it's amazing thinking about everybody's life. Everybody who you've been so generous with your time and your spirit with. I miss
You're a special
talking to
person.
you. Oh, you're a marvelous person, Uncle Peter. I think of our conversations all the time. I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you again soon. Bye,
George,
everybody.
George Grasser.
Okay, we're calling from Chautauqua, New York, where we spend half the summer. And we are neighbors of Peter's at the Beau Rivage. We don't spend as much time there as a lot of other people, but Peter and Lynn are right above us. And so if there are any problems in our unit, we know they'll be helpful, and we often call them if there's a problem to see if they're getting the same problem we have. And I always remember, Peter, I still have on my phone some of the golf jokes that Peter sent me. So that, because he knows I do play golf once in a while. But I appreciate Peter's involvement in the Beau Rivage. The high-rise buildings are very difficult to manage, a lot of issues. And I know Ann Hall is on the list here. She's our president, and you heard from Moppy, who is very helpful. But Peter has made major contributions to keeping the place going. And so I always appreciate that. Seal, do you want to say something?
Of course I want to say something. When have you ever known me not to want to say something? And first of all, we just love Peter and Lynn. And yep, they're right above us. And so often I'll call and ask, did you get a leak at such and such? Or did you get an announcement at such and such? Yeah, and we wish that we could see them more often, that if we were there more often, but we aren't. I apologize that we didn't get on here early enough. I missed hearing all about the family. We have our son here and two of the grandchildren and a future daughter-in-law. And so we've been really crazy busy and didn't get to do everything, but I'll have to have Moppy tell us all about your amazing family. I could put a ditto under Moppy's name because everything she said about Peter is true. He's such a great guy, so smart, sticks to whatever topic he has to take care of. And I'm going to tell you one of the things he did for me. We lived in a unit of one floor below them, 2 floors below them up until about 3 years ago. And I was getting clothes bleached when I would wash them in we all have washing machines and dryers in our own units. And every now and then I would get something bleached. I mean, like a brand new towel or a shirt or something. And what did Peter do? He arranged to have samples of my water taken and then brought down someplace downtown, some official person, and they checked out the water and came up with nothing. And still, every now and then, although now we live right underneath them, we're in what they call a tower, and I haven't had any since then. But he stuck to that. How many people would do that other than someone who really cared, who really, really cared? And they're a great couple, I'll say, right? And again, we could go on and on, but I see other people waving and we want to give them a turn too. So love you guys, and we may see you November, maybe. Our family's trying to get us to go for Thanksgiving. But okay, love you. Bye.
The story with that is the city denied the most logical explanation, that is that there was too much chlorine in the water occasionally, but maybe they have better control over that now.
Yeah, I guess we've improved because I haven't had I shouldn't say speak the next time I wash something down there, who knows? But you took care of it, Peter. Thank you. Hi, Ellen. Hi.
the most recent story with them calling is that Seal called one morning and said, there's a strange man outside your apartment.
Oh, that's right.
Adam was surprising us when he came back from Mexico. But we were in bed and we didn't hear the door ring, and we had our phones charging, so we didn't hear our phones ring. So he had to spend the night waiting for us to open the door in the morning.
That's right. Is he on this call, Peter?
I'm sorry?
Is he on this call?
Yeah, he's here, yeah.
Okay, I missed. And I kept wondering, I said to George, how early do you think we can call them that this man is outside the door?
I was quite enjoying your theater room that was being renovated for water damage. That's where I slept.
Oh, wow.
Oh, did Isani disappear? She was here. She was going to talk. Is she gone?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Did you want to share too? This is my daughter.
Sure. Hi. Yeah, I also need to go. I am in Alaska. I moved here to be an auntie to Ganesha's daughter. And I just want to say, Uncle Peter, you're a real part of my motivation to be a strong influence in Bia's life. I've always talked about how you and all the aunts, I talk about being raised by my aunts as much as my parents, and we all traded cousins and nieces and nephews. I don't know, I think for some reason you kind of get left out of that conversation because I use the word aunts, but you are included in that. And I've been thinking a lot about summers in Belmar, and just how I have to echo what everyone else has said. You're so strong and gentle and kind and there and such a safe space, and I've always made a point of being there in such a safe way, in a way that makes us know that you are there for us no matter what, but that we can be whoever we are, and we will be loved, and that will stay with me forever. And I hope that I can pass that down. For some reason, I have this memory of you taking me to the Bass store at the Shops on the Parkway here in North Carolina, and it was a big visit, lots of family. This is just what sticks out for me, and you took me there. And I remember it dawning on me halfway through our shopping excursion that you did that because you wanted to spend time with me. And it kind of blew my mind, to be honest. In my mind, I was a charity case, and you did that because I needed clothes and you were taking care of me. But you made it really clear with your presence and with your questions that you wanted to be with me. And that's something that changed my life, and I really appreciate it. You're a very, very special person, and I do want to say I appreciate whatever reasons are behind you not being as much of a pun master. But I really appreciate that you were a pun master in my childhood, and your smile will never leave my brain. You're very mischievous. Yep, that's what I said. Smile will never leave my brain. And FYI, your great niece Bia has that smile and has that sense of humor.
We don't have it muted. See, everybody's muted.
You're very, very, very proud of that. And I think who you are to this family and to your friends will never leave the planet as long as there are people with that smile and with that kindness. And I fully intend to keep passing it on. I love you very, very, very much, Uncle Peter.
Thank you, Asadi. I love you back.
Laurie, are you ready to, thanks, Isani, I love you. Are you ready to read, Laurie? This is Laurie, our sister. You need to unmute yourself, Laurie. She's going to read a letter from someone who had to leave.
I am. Okay. I am Laurie. I am Peter's third. Mute it back again. Okay. This was sent from.
Maybe you should come in here and read it, Laurie. I think that'll work better. We've got 3 computers going. Because Mark is a master. We couldn't have done any of this without him.
From Emily, maybe?
Emily, capitalize 2, it's Emily.
Okay, this is a message from Emily, who are one of Peter and Lynn's children.
Honorary child.
She says, Peter, in a room, you sat quietly and never call attention to yourself. You always let others have the floor. Growing up in our family, he needed to have that skill. But listen carefully whenever you sense a need. When you spoke, I would immediately realize that you are the wisest guy in the whole room. To me, you are the most competent mentor and have given me much over the years. You always listen with a goal to be helpful, never complain, and comfort me even when your health is under stress. I bet you want examples, and I have no lack of them. You possess surgically precise spiritual insight. You diagnosed quickly and correctly that I was angry at God when I had to put down my last cat and suffered a faith crisis. You volunteered the help of your son-in-law, who worked for the company that I was trying to interview for, helped me further along in the process. You sent me inspiring pictures of trees surviving in impossibly harsh conditions when you heard I was about to get my first cancer scan results. 2 weeks ago, you immediately got on the internet and started giving me practical help when I mentioned that I'd been thinking about getting a will done but was not sure how to proceed. For all those, I want to say thank you, Peter and Lynn, for marrying such a great couple. And I want to say, I'm really glad you're my brother, Peter, and I have always felt so lucky to have you as my brother. You not only are kind and gentle and generous, you're fun. You've always been fun, which was great to get to be with you and play and be silly and curious. I love you.
I'll be back.
Thank you, Laurie.
Peter, it's in spite of the fact that it says I'm Katavan, it's Marie Miller. I'm pleased to be here, and thank you for being a loyal friend for over 50 years, and allowing me to penetrate your graduate school group and Amherst with Tamara, and to recognize the fact that you and Tamara invited Phil and I over to your home, and that's what blossomed into our love story. I appreciate the fact, and remember, you're living with Tamara in this apartment complex, and burnt pork chops. Does that make any meaning to you?
My grandma, yeah.
Yes, that she insisted on cooking and always would burn the pork chops. I remember that. I also want to remember, the importance of, as I said, of introducing Phil and I. The fact that you've kept in touch with us for all these years, and you primarily took the initiative because Phil was not one to take the initiative, but he was always pleased to talk to you on phone calls, etc. I think you know that Phil was more introverted and needed to have, a colleague to talk to, and you fulfilled that for him over those years. I remember you and your mother also came and helped us pick out this home that I was living in, that Philip and I lived in for over 19 years. And you just were a steady friend. You hired our son Doug without us even asking, and telling you that he needed a job. And pharmacopoeia, I remember that period. And I just don't know how to begin to state the appreciation that Phil and I had with you keeping in touch. In a sense, I'm disappointed that you moved to Maryland, but that's the way it is. But keeping in phone touch was really important. And thank you for your friendship.
Thank you, Marie. It was happy
Thanks,
to-
Marie. I'm gonna call on Renata next, if you're okay with that, Zoe, because she's
Fine.
gonna have to go. You're up, Renata.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Hi, Peter. Hi, Lean. Hi, everyone in the family. I'm so glad to see you. I'm happy and grateful for you let me in to be with you on such a special occasion. I'm sorry if you hear sounds around me because I'm standing in front of the hotel in the middle of ceremony that we have in a hotel. Anyway, Peter, I was lucky to have a year and a half to spend every day in a year and a half with you. For those who don't know, I took care of Suzanne for a year and a half, and I had the most wonderful time thanking to you. And we traveled and we had fun and we talked every day, and I had one of the most intense time in my life. And I'm really blessed to be able to live with you in the house, to be with you, to know you since I was 26, to tell you I'm 61 almost. So it's really a long time. And also, as Isani before said, I felt you never abandoned me for the rest of, since the day we met and since the day I know you. I can share one of the most moments and time that I remember, and I will always remember. One of this, we traveled a lot. We had a great time. We spent a lot of time together. Anyway, I remember one of the most precious time was when we were supposed to go to Metropolitan Opera and see the Wagner's Ring der Nibelungen, one of the 6 hours performances. And for some reason, Suzanne and Tamara couldn't go. And you said, okay, we'll go anyway, just the two of us. So we did. So we drove to New York, went to Metropolitan Opera and sat there for 6 hours, cried and laughed and cheered and yelled bravo and everything. It was really, really wonderful. Also, well, many other occasions, and I'm so grateful. And I wish you all the best to you and to everyone in the family. And you're always welcome to visit me in Croatia. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Renata.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking such good care of Suzanne all those years. At one point, you said you were going to write a book about your experiences being Suzanne.
Yeah. That was quite a huge experience. Great time of my life. Thank you so much. I love you, Peter. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Renata.
Bye.
Zoe?
Hello. One moment. Hi. I am Zoe. I'm Nora's daughter. Peter is my uncle. Peter, it's wonderful to see you. I'm so sorry for what you and all of you guys are going through. Can only imagine how hard that is. So sending you all my love, of course. And yeah, I just wanted to share a couple of things. It's been really great to see a lot of people on here that I haven't seen in a while, and to listen to especially what some of the cousins have said that I really resonated with. I kind of grew up without having like much of a dad around and didn't have a lot of like father figures. And the men in my life as a kid were very formative for me. And the trait that I really value the most in men is gentleness. And that's something that I view as so special and so important. And I have a wonderful partner now. I'm sorry he couldn't be here today, but he is a very gentle also. And yeah, I just wanted to let you know how important that it was and is for me to see you modeling that as a way that a man can be. Sorry. Yeah, gentleness and kindness is really important to me. Those are two of my biggest values in life. So I just wanted to share that. And it's funny, I actually kind of resonated with what Austin and Ganesha were saying, even though I am a girl in the family of girls, but the family is a lot. It can be really overwhelming, and people think it's a hilarious joke when I tell them that I'm the quiet one in my family. But I'm like, you just haven't met my family. You think I'm a lot to take in. I'm literally the quiet one. So anyway, yeah, I just really appreciate you also just kind of modeling another way to be in our family and a way to be yourself, and kind of, yeah, just for us quiet ones or gentle ones. I'll speak for myself as a sensitive one. That's something that really means a lot to me. So yeah, I just wanted to say that and let you know that I love you. And also I will say that I have devoted my life to comedy, and so your puns and your sense of humor and the way that your humor is like, and I hope you take this the right way, but both smart and dumb at the same time, which is something that I really love and value. So I just wanted to share that also. Anyway, love you all, and just sending you so much love.
Thank you, Zoe. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Zoe. Smart and dumb at the same time. That was right on the money. I love that. Alexander?
Yeah, that's me. Hi, Peter. Hi, everybody. I don't know how many you have nearby, family, of course, and I hope that the others are closer to you than me. With Marina, we are now in Belgrade, Serbia. So at that time when we met, it was one country, Yugoslavia. Now we are much richer. There are about 6 new countries. So actually we were nearby in Florida. However, did not manage to get at that time in Naples. We are in Lakewood Ranch. So now, Marina, I think we should say something more about your family and this group of people that are nearby, 30 of them. So I knew that you're a magician, chemical specialist, computerized. How did you manage these 30 people just in one screen this evening to put on?
Well, somebody else is driving, fortunately.
So I know we need to be more often. You were so close to me, helping as best friend with Marina in marriage in Princeton. You remember that?
Yes.
Yes, that's all. I don't know what else to add. The years are coming on, going on, and no time anymore to waste. So have something special. I'm not crying. We are staying together all the time. And it was so much fun when we went to marriage of your daughter Suzanne, and I saw Ryan, and so too bad I was not able to spend more time, but we were in contact with email and send us every year what was going on with family.
Yeah, try to stay in touch.
So this is more, this is for me, there is just very little time left for all others. So that's all.
That's great that you say that, Alexander, because I just found out that we don't have to stop at 3, that we've scheduled this, but the video will keep, I mean, we can do this for, I mean, we don't have to stay forever, but we can do this as long as we want to. So is there anything else you want to say, knowing that, Alexander, or are you finished?
Alex, we first met with your first wife, Jivka, when she began taking care of Suzanne. She was Suzanne's first real nanny. And Jivka didn't know English very well. And so Suzanne and Jivka worked out their own language. And they communicated with each other. It was a special bond there with Jivka until she died. That was a big event in Suzanne's life.
Yeah.
And then
yes.
of course,
and
then of course,
you helped me so much.
Then of course you married Marina. And
keep talking, Peter.
You married Marina, and we kept up the relationship with you and Marina. But Jivka was a special person in Suzanne's life.
Yes, and I have to say that you helped me so much when you stood by me in chapel in Princeton after Marina died. So stay, remember everything. So hopefully the family will stay together, and you get strength as much as you can. That's what Marina is wishing you and all others.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexander. Gina, hi Gina.
Good night.
Gina.
Gina, it's been a long time. Is she muted?
Unmute. I didn't know I was muted. Oh, of course I was muted. Okay, so you didn't hear anything I said. Peter, I'm so sorry we lost touch. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And for about 30 years, I think. But listening to these people, it brings back a lot of memories. And wow. Oh, when we used to live 2 houses apart in East Windsor, remember? Of course you remember. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that this has to be the opportunity to say hello to you, that you're sick, that I know what you have, and that it's anyway, I'm not sure I can say anything significant of memories. There's just so many. I'm not going to bring up the pot parties at your house. Are you hearing me or not?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I won't bring them up. Okay. I just, I love your family. I love you. And sorry that we didn't keep in touch, one thing after another, but I wish you the best for the upcoming months, years, whatever you have. I hope it's a lot. And I hope Paul says something. He's on this group too. He may, my memory is failing to tell you the truth. But Peter, well, I'm glad I got a chance to say hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gina.
Bye.
Great to see
Sure.
you. And
Yeah,
Paul
it's good
has
to see
shared.
all
Paul
of
has
you.
shared. He may share
Yeah.
again, but he did share already too before you got here.
Oh, he did share, but oh, share. Okay. I didn't know. Go and off
Well-
here. Unmute again or something.
If you're finished sharing, you could mute yourself.
Okay. Somehow, mute.
There you go.
I'm going to take a break, make a bathroom break.
So is there is there anyone else who wants to share? We're coming up on 3 hours, but if there's more people who want, 2 hours, if more people want to share, we can stay here. And I did have, I'm going to share something. And there is a video of of photographs from Peter's life, and there's actually a little story on there from Karen Francho, who was a friend from childhood, that she asked me to read. So that's on the video, and that we're going to play at the end, and you can stay for that. And that also will be available. Mark, would you put the link in the chat again, and also it will be sent to you on email. But I just wanted to say, I was driving up from North Carolina. I was on the Blue Ridge Parkway yesterday, and I saw the video had come, and I pulled over and I watched it. And just as I started driving again along the parkway, I saw this beautiful stag. He must have had at least 6 points, and he just stood there off to the right. And I just thought about you, Peter, and I just thought it just made me just think of your strength and your stillness and your beautiful way of being a male. So I know other people have said that today too. I just wanted to share that about seeing the stag after I saw the video yesterday. And I want to thank everybody for coming. Peter, is there anything that you want to say? And then if anyone wants to add anything, please do.
Peter's in the bathroom.
Oh, Peter's in the bathroom. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so we could just take a little break if you want to, but don't go away if you want to stick around, because I know that Peter would like to say something to you all before we end. I'm sure he does. So
While we take a break, I would like to say something. Oh, there goes Jenny. I wanted to say hello to Peter, Bond, and Jenny.
Oh, cool.
Well, now they're gone.
Are they gone, or they're just went?
She just stood up. Well, it's okay. There you are, Jenny.
Hey, everybody can take a little break if you want to.
Yeah,
because
Jenny, Peter, I just wanted to say, when my brother Peter and I were young, we first met you, we thought you were the coolest friends of Peter and Tamara that we had met. You guys were really great, and I loved meeting you. I can't believe it's been so long, but it's really wonderful to see you both.
Well, thanks for that, Paul.
Yeah, you guys were great, and you were a lot of fun, and you taught me one, how to change the motor oil in a car. 2, you taught me about rugby, and 3, you taught me about a rugby player's ear who had fallen off, but he was too proud to admit it in the middle of a match. And strange story stuck with me to this day. And but we were all much smaller then or younger. And
Yeah,
that
I
was-
have fond memories of you as well when you were a child, and because you lived next door to Peter and Tamara, so we saw quite a lot of you. So, and it's nice to see you again. And
And to hear from your mom, Gina.
Yes.
Hopefully we can keep in touch.
I hope so. If I'm in England again, I will seek you out.
yeah, sure, do get in touch with us, and it'd be nice to see you.
Absolutely.
Come with your Auntie Tamara.
Drag her, I'll bring her along.
I'd like to see you both. We gotta keep in better touch.
That's right. Yes, we keep saying we should.
Yeah,
And you're
time
keeping
goes
well.
by so
That's
quickly.
good.
You're looking good.
You're
All
looking
everyone.
good too.
Yeah, thank you
We
all
had
for
some-
inviting us.
Yeah, we had some great times together. I always think of you whenever I want to think of
Yes.
something nice.
We had some good times at Princeton anyway, so.
Yes,
But
we
Peter
did.
was there longer than me because you knew Peter longer because I didn't come until later on
Right.
to Princeton, did I? I visited, but not to live. So,
Mm.
but I think Peter spent much more time with you than I did originally. So,
Yeah,
Um,
but we became really close friends.
That's right. Now remember your mom and brother, both
Yeah.
brothers.
I know.
Anyway, we're very pleased to be part of this and to see Peter again. Great.
Thank you, everybody. Peter, I was thinking that perhaps you wanted to say something.
Elizabeth, Robbie has his hand up.
Oh, he does? Robbie, are you raising your hand? I thought you were clapping. Did you want to say something, Rob?
Yes. Peter, one of the best decisions I ever made was marrying into this family. And what came with that was you and the rest of the sisters, but especially you. As my brother-in-law, I have journeyed with you as parents, as grandparents, as friends and contemporaries. And when we first met, I was pretty young. I was 20 years old. I was born when you graduated from high school. There's a big difference between us at that point in ages and where we were in our lives, but you embraced and accepted me and loved me. And as we journeyed on, our friendship just deepened because of our shared experience in this family. And I appreciate taking a journey with you so much.
Suzanne, are you going to say something? What?
I think they have trouble hearing you. But thank you. Thank you.
I think Adam wants to say something as well.
I don't know where, how, or what to do it though. I'm trying to make sure everyone else can hear too.
Why don't you sit here?
Yay! All right. You got it all figured out. All right.
Elizabeth, can you switch the screen? All we can see is you.
You can see me?
It's very beautiful though.
I don't know what to do. I'm looking at all of you.
Mute yourself.
Yeah.
I did mute myself.
You're not muted.
It should change mutes. Our view. Someone has it set up as a speaker, I think. I'm not actually sure what to do with that. There you go. Someone, yeah, the host needs to change that. Great. There, that's fine. So my name is Adam. I am the son of Wendy. I know. Well, that's welcome to technology of 90 FOV webcam cameras. There we go. Still playing. The son of Wendy, which is the daughter of Lynn. And I've had the great pleasure and honor. I'm going to talk towards them and with you, obviously, right next to you. Great pleasure and honor of living with and around Peter for, well, most of my life since I was, about 15. So half of my life. And I like to say that people that I interact with and that influence me teach me everything I need to know and everything not to know, not everything to do and everything not to do. And the amount of people that get set on that list are like, yeah, that was great. Now I know a lot of things not to do. And there are very few people that actually are not on that side of the list and that are on the side of things to do and things and emotions and attitudes to be a positive influence in life. And not quite having all those when I was very young. Peter coming into the family was my grandfather, was a guiding light in Goover. And even when I had my accident and I went through a death of myself and had to be regrown and reborn, like a plant, Peter was always so skillful to plant the seeds and to help water, including books, a lot of my understanding of reality through learning Buddhism and understanding care and compassion. It was some of the books that he had given to me along the way. And so it's just been an incredible pleasure and honor, and very thankful to have you in my life. So I appreciate you.
I've learned from you too.
We're probably pretty good at that, aren't we?
Okay. Anybody else? I guess that's it. Peter, here's Suzanne.
So I'm not gonna say too much just because I will fall apart. But the thing that I've heard over the past few hours is the same takeaway that I have from my own life. And is that my dad was the OG feminist. He is the opposite of toxic masculinity. He walks around with care and love in his heart for everyone at all times. And I think
You got
We lost
muted.
audio.
Can you unmute? There we go.
good. Yeah. So to recap,
I don't know why this is happening.
I think the point is that everyone really loves you a lot. And perhaps we needed to do this in order for you to see how far-reaching your love is. Because, I mean, this to me is a testament to your ability to welcome us all as we are in your life and just show up and support. And that's what you've always been for me and what you've always been for our family. And there's nothing more I can want from a parent. So thank you. And you know, the only thing I could ask for is how you have shown up so far. So thank you for not leaving us hanging in any way. You've always followed through every time. It means a lot to us. You don't have to say it. Love you.
Places that. I'll be back.
I can share that I'm so thankful for the blessing of Peter in my life. Peter and I grew up together since we were in 6th grade, I think, 7th grade maybe. So we were friends, and he was friends with my first husband as well. And we had, of course, lots of friends. Paul was my neighbor and Paul was his best friend. So it was a nice bunch of people. And when my husband of 40 years passed away, I had no plans of getting remarried, and neither did Peter. We, of course, had all these mutual friends, and we had a high school get-together 2 years after I had lost my first husband. My first husband was my sweetheart since we were around 11, and we had 40 years of marriage. But the interesting thing with Peter is we were both in the drama club, and during the senior play, Peter proposed to me as part of the plot, of course, and I turned him down as part of the plot. And we had to laugh at that because here we are, married. We had 17 years of a wonderful marriage, but neither of us ever expected it. But I'm kind of rambling here. He was divorced and he was down because, you know, his life had changed, and he was sad.
We both felt our lives was over.
Right.
Lynn because she lost her husband, and me because my marriage was falling apart.
Right. And we were friends. He called me to see how I was doing. And he gave me his mother's book, and I called him and we talked about the book. And then he came to see Paul, who lives in Maryland near me. And he said, "Do you want to go out to dinner, the four of us?" And we did. And he took me home, and we both said, you know, it's wonderful to have a friend at a time like this. We had no intentions, either of us, of ever being romantic. But as the years went on, we got to know each other better, and we got along so well. And we had so much fun with some of our other friends that our feelings started to change. And 17 years married, we're still enjoying the company of each other and the love, like everyone has said. He is such a lovable man and so kind and sweet. Of course, I knew that from when he was little. He was just the same. Soft-spoken, sometimes funny with his newspaper jokes and puns. He was on the newspaper, and it was just something we didn't expect, but it has been a wonderful, wonderful blessing.
Second life for both of us.
A second life. We have traveled all over. We have enjoyed friends, visited my old friends, his old friends, our old friends. And I thank God every night for what we've had during these twilight years. I appreciate it. We have wonderful friends in Maryland, wonderful friends in Florida, and Peter's family has been wonderful to me. It's, I don't have a very big family, so I've appreciated the time that I have had with his daughter and her husband, a wonderful couple, and their beautiful, kind, sweet children. My children, my grandchildren are all grown. And to me, you know, seeing and holding those babies was just another special time in my life that I would have never had if it wasn't for Peter and his family. So I thank God every day for what we've had together. And I love him with all my heart.
Me too.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank-
if no one else wants to talk, I'll say a few words. This has been very touching. Appreciate every one of you for your friendship, your love, and participation in my life. 83, as things come to a close, I look back on my life. I've done many things, seen a lot of the world, made contributions, I think, to certainly the technical literature and some of the advances in pharmaceutical research. I feel that my life has been productive, but at the end of the day, what's most meaningful to me is family and friends. I'm appreciative that I've had so many friends from so many different areas of my life that we've stayed in touch and continue to appreciate each other. So I don't have a lot of advice for people as my life comes to an end, except appreciate your family, appreciate your friends, because at the end of the day, that's what's important. Thank you all.
Thank you, Peter. So I told everybody I was going to sing, but I'm not going to. But the song I wanted to sing was "Shower the People That You Love with Love." Tell them the way that you feel. Everything will be much better if you only do. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
They look so good. These are very tasty.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Stay in touch.